All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am a registered dietitian here with Functional Nutrition RX. I am going to start off today's presentation in a moment. I want to just let everyone start to trickle in. I know many of us are tuning in after the fact and getting the recording. If anyone has questions, of course, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at info@Functional Nutrition RX. If you have any questions, or by phone, of course, it's 631-204-3375. If you're watching the recording and, have some questions for us, definitely. So I'm sharing my screen now. Let's see. It's taking a second to load. Okay. It's showing me on my end that the screen is being shared. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to shout them out. I will also go through the chat at the end of the presentation and answer any questions in the chat. So please do not hesitate to just give me a shout during the presentation if something comes up, however. So today's presentation we wanted to put together because many individuals tend to struggle during the summer month because of the summer months due to the increase in social splurges. And we look so forward to this time of year, and we want to help everyone have a fun, healthy summer with minimal barriers. So we figured let's pick out a couple of instances where individuals tend to have questions and, troubleshoot it. So, of course, this can be, a conversation as well during the presentation if, you do run into certain barriers and we're on that topic. So, without further ado, how to stay on track without missing out, fueling our summer. So, wellness is not just a destination. I really like this quote, but a way of traveling throughout life's various journeys. So, meaning we're not good or bad or on a plan, off a plan. It ebbs and flows with the needs of the moment. And we're trying to make sure that individuals can still enjoy some of their favorite outings, occurrences, and foods during the summer while still keeping mindful and in line with their goals. Today's presentation is going to have a format where we're going into nourishing our body daily, topics like beach, boat, barbecue, traveling, enjoying fresh local produce. Then we'll ebb into hydration information, especially for those who are, outdoor runners in the summer, swimmers, bikers, or just outdoor enthusiasts as a whole. And of course, just general hydration tips for those of us who are trying to keep our fluids up consistently. Lastly, we'll end with staying active and engaged, right? And we'll go into some local places and spaces too that can help us have fun while still being in a more culpable environment for healthy options. So, first, we're going to go into meal timing. I think it's important to set the tone here because it does carry over into all sorts of outings, right? Like our social occurrences, like a beach, a barbecue, or maybe some of us are running into it with graduations at the end of the summer or weddings. Wedding season is upon us, etc. So we want to avoid skipping breakfast. I know some of us might get tempted, say, okay, I have a barbecue at 2 o'clock. Maybe I'll just eat something more of like a snack like breakfast, or I'm going to like quote unquote save my calories. But in terms of controlling our appetite and our blood sugar regulation throughout the day, we want to prioritize protein and fiber earlier in the day. So having a simple, egg platter breakfast with some eggs, some fruit, some toast, maybe some avocado. We're hitting fiber with the avocado and some fruit, maybe some whole grain toast, and protein with the eggs. It's also a balanced breakfast, incorporating all of our major food groups as well. Oatmeal with some protein powder, smoothie with protein powder in it, or some cottage cheese as a parfait, or Greek yogurt, just to name some classics. So we're going to avoid saving up our calories for the party or dinner because sometimes, often, we get very, very hungry for that meal. And that's when I know myself, I'm prone to be like, oh, I haven't eaten much all day. I have the calories in the budget for this splurge. And people actually, I don't want to go too much into calories because it's a lot deeper than that. But people do end up taking in more calories throughout the whole day when they save, quote unquote. And also, it leads to later night eating, harder to get to sleep, heavier digestion, and the cycle can sometimes continue with, oh, now I'm not really hungry for breakfast because I ate a heavier meal in the evening when I wasn't as physically active and utilizing it as well. So, another of my favorite tips that I feel like gets considered like a nutritional cliche that people know but sometimes don't always do. I swear, the having a balanced snack before you go, 1 to 2 hours before the event, really takes me from zero starving to like a three. I that I'm hungry, I could eat feeling. And you want to enter an event in that frame because it does cause more control around options and we're not so hungry and not as likely to go over in terms of our portions. So having a small balanced snack that incorporates a protein and or healthy fat with a carb like Greek yogurt with some fruit, a protein shake, apple and nut butter. I love some wild chips and some fruit. That's a great brand. Or having some crackers and some hummus, for example, are great, easy, portable tools. At gatherings, we want to build up our plate, always protein first, and then adding in the vegetables and the more fibrous carbs on the plate so that it's taking up a greater amount of space with some room for fun foods too. So there is some moderation in there. Of course, with meal timing for social splurges, people always think about meal timing throughout the clock, as we were mentioning, which is important, but also the timing in the meal, right? Eating slowly. Sometimes I get excited and I see the whole, table of Italian goodies, even at July 4th. And I'm like, oh, I want a little of this, a little of that, and eating quickly. It doesn't give our vagal nerve time to really send that message up to the brain to say, hey, I'm full, and we end up with that, oh no, now I'm stuffed feeling. So eating slowly, savoring the food, the concept of multiple courses can be good to space things out and allow time for digestion. But overall, we want to try to aim to eat every 3 to 4 hours, which can look like breakfast, lunch, dinner, 1 to 2 snacks in the simplistic sense, or having, 3 to 6 small meals spaced throughout the day. Whatever works for the individual, depending on if we're taking a GLP, for an example, those on a GLP-1, like a Ozempic, or a GLP GIP combo, like a Zepbound or a Mounjaro, they may do better with more small, frequent meals. Of course, in terms of our meal timing, we also want to consider consistency over time too. One meal is not meant to derail our day, and looking at the day in terms of quarters, right? So maybe we went out for brunch and brunch was a little bit of a splurge. It doesn't mean the whole day is forgone, right? If I have one flat tire, I'm not going to go cut the other three. So it just gives us an opportunity to feel better at other times of day, but still, being able to indulge at least in one portion, say. But after a social splurge, we don't want to, let that one day affect the entire week. So see it as okay, maybe that one day I was a little outside my normal routine or regimen. That's all right. I'm back on the horse either the next meal or the next day. We don't have to quote unquote like make up for it, meaning some individuals sometimes have more calories say yesterday, Monday, and now it's Tuesday and they feel the need to restrict themselves and oh, I'm only going to eat X amount today because I had so much yesterday. You want to get back into your normal regimen because it can cause more bouts of binges and then calorie reduction, binges and then calorie reduction, and it can be a vicious cycle. So this is just some general groundwork and overall focusing on, eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, even if that social occasion is dinner or lunch, not saving up calories and really trying to balance out our meals with some fiber-rich carbs, including fruits and vegetables, as well as healthy starches like beans and potatoes. And of course, building our plate around the protein first. So to get a little bit more specific with occasions, beach, pool, boating, they kind of overlap each other a lot. The most important is to plan ahead, right? Plan a little bit more, maybe food than we might need. What if we get held up there a little longer than a little planned? It's than we had planned. It's okay to have a little extra snacks. Just maybe we're going to choose some non-perishable ones instead. So planning ahead, right? I'm going to be out on the boat for, breakfast and lunch. I don't want to come home starving and ordering from the Italian place and giving into my cravings, right? So we want to try to have a breakfast beforehand of some kind, even if it's stopping at a local deli or making something from home. Of course, homemade's always great. And then saying, okay, I'm going to need a couple of snacks. Even if I tell myself I'm not going to bring a snack, I want to try to avoid it. Other people will end up bringing snacks, and we don't want to end up munching on, whatever the universe brings us that our friends have ended up bringing. And also, it's healthy to eat, and we want to make sure that we're getting enough of our nutrients in for the day. So planning ahead with snacks, meals, etc. I really love in the summer embracing the concept called the snackle box. It comes off a term called, like a tackle box, right, for fishing. It's that same kind of concept of a tackle box, but instead now formulating it with all different kinds of snacks. Similar with meals and in general, our tips for nutrition for snacking is we always want to have balanced options, some protein, some healthy fat, and some nutritious fiber-rich carbs. So that could look like some fruits and veggies as our fiber-rich carbs. I love putting some nice cold grapes or let some frozen mango go in there, let it start to melt a little bit. It's delicious. Timed right, strawberries, blueberries, carrots, celery, tomatoes, fajita cut bell peppers, you name it, right? Fruits and veggies, some other healthy carbs to include in the snackle box could be like crackers, for example, or like a bean dip, like a cowboy caviar, especially Trader Joe's is notorious for their cowboy caviar as one of their cult staples. We could do the Chomps brand turkey or chicken jerky. It's no nitrates, nitrites, and it's a nice lean protein. It does well in the heat. A lot of proteins do have issues spoiling in the heat. And some sweets aren't the devil. We want to just try to choose cleaner brands, right? I use the term cleaner for lack of a better phrasing, but ingredients that are less harmful to our bodies, free of those red dyes, for example, uh, the artificial sugars like aspartame, for example. Unreal Snacks is a good brand. Some people like Smart Sweets. There is a lot of sugar alcohols in Smart Sweets. On occasion, okay, it's a swap, but I don't want to, label it as, oh, it's such a healthier option. But it can be a little better in comparison to other sweets that some people might indulge in. So you want to look at the spectrum to which we're coming from. And then, of course, like nuts and seeds are always great options in the snackle box, but we can get really creative. And I did put an example image of a bunch of kids, reaching into the snackle box on the beach. But it's great. It's portable. They sell them on Amazon too. You could take out those little white pockets and put them in the dishwasher, so it deassembles nicely, easy cleanup. And like I said, spill proof, nice lid, portable. Put it right in the beach bag and you're ready to go to the pool or on the boat or on the beach. Of course, water bottle, cannot forget our water bottle. Keep it cold maybe even the night before. That's wonderful. If plain water can be a little boring, we catch ourselves not going towards it and going towards other options with flavor or design on the can. Sometimes it's just that feeling, the vibe on the beach. I get it. We could do fruit and herb infusions. I love using frozen fruit for this too, so it works also as an ice cube, and as it melts, those flavors really infuse a lot more into the water. You could do infused teas as well, especially herbal teas. Electrolytes are great, especially you're going to be out in the heat all day. I do like Ultima. It's not super salty for non-performance use of electrolytes, and it has a low dose of electrolytes. So if I was doing, over 60 minutes of intense cardio and perspiring, I wouldn't go towards Ultima. But if I'm just on the beach, with some friends enjoying my day, yeah, it would be a great option. There's, pink lemonade flavor. Of course, they have raspberry. People really love the orange and the grape, oddly enough. I get a lot of good feedback on that from patients. And they're always coming out with a slew of options. They have the little portable packs with the single serve, which is great for travel. And then they have the larger twist off containers, which are a better price point because we can buy them in bulk. But yeah, electrolytes can be a great option too. Sometimes if you want to get fancy with it, add like 2 ounces of a 100% fruit juice. So maybe like the Palm brand, Palm Wonderful blueberry pomegranate with like a pomegranate electrolyte flavor and a little bit of seltzer. And you just took that water and brought it up a notch and also put some antioxidants in it. Some people might turn around and say, oh, the sugar in the juice, though, it's 2 ounces. It's not terrible. It's under 6 grams of sugar, and it's looking at the totality of the day. Am I taking in a lot of sugar in my food? Am I drinking a lot of beverages that have a lot of added sugars in it? And of course, if we're going to add a beverage like a juice, we want 100% fruit juice, and of course, an antioxidant rich option. Pineapple juice is also great for its bromelain, which is great for muscle repair. So there are some benefits, and I'm saying 2 ounces. I'm not saying a full cup worth of it. My cat is trying to jump up on my desk right now. So if you see an Oliver appearance. Other beverages that can be good too. I do like Propel is a good flavor if you're stopping quickly at, say, a 7-Eleven or a grocery store and then heading right to the beach. Propel can be a good option. Sometimes we like our fancy waters. I'm not gonna lie. I love Gerolsteiner. Steiner. It's a German mineral water that has about 20% of my daily calcium needs in it. It's pretty great. It has magnesium in it as well. It has good flavor. Yes, it's water, but I love it. It tastes, when you taste it, you know. Some people really like the Mountain Valley water, the Topo Chico water. Whatever, it's a nice glass bottle. Just getting my cat off from fitzing around. He loves to knock things off. This is Oliver. So of course we have our waters, our Propel. It could be a seltzer, like a Spindrift or another flavored water spritzer. Poppy can be a good alternative to soda or like an alcoholic beverage. I like the brand Relax. It's like a seltzer that has some magnesium and different flavors. It's naturally flavored, not the ingredient natural flavors, but they do use real whole foods to add flavor to that. Coconut water also serves as good electrolytes. I like the Harmless Harvest brand. It tastes great, organic, but not limited to Harmless Harvest. And Swoon is another brand that a lot of individuals tend to go towards as well, as these options that I'm going through, they feel a little different compared to just our regular water bottle that we have every day for a fun occasion, but are also lower in sugar and processed ingredients. Of course, mocktails can be good options too. We just want to be careful of added simple syrups, artificial sugars. Of course, a regular mocktail is going to be better than having alcohol in it, but we do want to be careful of the other sweetened additives that can be in them. So if we were to continue, of course, on the topic of beach, pool, boating, we want to also plan maybe usually about at least one meal if we're going to be out. So sub in a tub is becoming like a viral fun option, which is the image of the salad I have to the right. It came from, was it Jersey Mike's? And of course, we can make it from home too. But it's essentially a deconstructed sub or sandwich, depending on which area of the country you're coming from, what you want to call it, and deconstructing it into a salad. So we're not limited to this option that has some salami, some pepperoncini in it, tomatoes, lettuce. We can always jazz it up and make it our own way. But it's just a cool concept to think of. Of course, smoothies are great in the hot weather. We're getting 1 to 2 fruits in there, an optional veggie. I personally love to recommend frozen riced cauliflower. You add a couple tablespoons of that into the smoothie mixture. You don't even know it's there. You don't taste it. You don't see it, and makes it a great like Wendy's Frosty-esque texture. We had protein, typically protein powder, and maybe a little Greek yogurt for some protein, texture, and probiotics. 1 to 2 tablespoons, depending on the individual, of healthy fat, and of course, liquid to desired texture, like an unsweetened coconut milk, a flax milk, or an unsweetened almond milk. but a smoothie can be a great like, quick breakfast on the go, and you're already guaranteeing that you're getting a few colors of different produce, a protein, a fat. So you're getting carbs in there with your fruit, and if you get some veggies in there, great. So it can be a balanced meal. Smoothie bowl, depending on how soon you want to eat it or how well your cooler keeps things cool. A smoothie bowl is you make a smoothie essentially and then you put some toppings on it. It's usually a little thicker than a classic smoothie and you eat it with a spoon. Quinoa protein bowl is also great because, again, these are all no heat options that we could just pop into our cooler. Always recommend bringing a cooler in the summer. Even like could be a little small lunchbox size cooler or something more rolly, depending on the needs and how many people we're accommodating. But a quinoa protein bowl, I love it. You could do quinoa, black beans, shredded chicken, grilled chicken breast, tomatoes, bell peppers, broccoli, or shredded carrots. You could add a little olive oil or like a Primal Kitchen brand Chipotle mayo to it, for example. And you can mix and match it all different ways. If you don't like quinoa, you could do farro or barley. If you don't want to do chicken, some people do like a cold seafood like shrimp or say you could get away with doing a little salmon in there, for example. And you could vary the vegetables as well and the sauces. So a cold salad or a cold grain bowl could be a good option. People hear grain bowl and they think carb overload. It's all how you portion it, right? So we don't want it to be like 3 cups of the grain and like, 2 ounces of, say, the chicken. We do want things to kind of to level out to our normal meal portions per serving, but we want to consider that and it can be a great, great option. Shout out to the Coleman Roadster. I feel like it's a very Americana staple. I love my Coleman Roadster so much for so many reasons, for going camping, doing the beach, of course, or if it's tailgate with loved ones or travel needs, etc. The Coleman Roadster is a portable grill and it's cast iron. I feel like it really chars the meat up really, really nicely and it's quick, it's portable, it's so easy to clean. I love it. So if we do the drive on beach, we could grill up, some quick turkey burgers, some veggies, have the whole grain bun as our healthy starch. We have our veggies, we've got our protein, and we're going and it's super quick. Of course, like a protein pasta salad could be something if we're not feeling like grilling. We want something just portable, packed up, ready to go. We could, of course, do like a caprese kind of theme where we take the Goodall's brand pasta or say, Barilla protein or chickpea by Barilla or the Brahmi brand made in Italy, Semolina. They all have like a boosted amount of protein and fiber, so it makes them a little bit higher quality of a pasta. But again, just like anything, we're adding some protein to it, maybe some balsamic glazed grilled chicken, shredded or diced up. We could add a little bit of, say, some mozzarella pearls, a little moisture, add some tomatoes to it. Now it's more of like a caprese. Maybe some spinach, some basil, and it's portable. You chill it and you don't have to heat it and just keep it in your cooler and ready to go. Egg bites in the morning can work